Good afternoon, folks. You guys have a treat today, coming straight from 4J's land, 4J's homestead. Sorry. At some point in the past, I had a landscaping. We started a landscaping company, but moving forward now, we started a small farming homestead. And this evening we have a treat for you guys. I'm gonna just introduce these guys here now. We have
Kowhen.
Right, Ras the Kowhen, right? And we have Mr. Lawrence. Brother Lawrence. Right. We also have Mr. Lawrence's wife.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
And my wife is behind the camera. Alright. Of course everybody knows me. I'm Mr. 4J's. Alright, Yaukonon. Just answering some questions about some plants. So one of the questions was what the greens we feed or the stuff we feed our animals, mainly goats, sheep, chickens, can we as humans digest that same sort of food? And for me personally, I've come to the conclusion due to some things that I've been doing. I would say 9 times out of 10, yeah. Chickens eat grass. You know, that's greens. That's the natural vitamins for them, right? Chickens eat corn. They eat wheat. You know, they eat oats, right? They eat grub, right? Like worms and whatnot. So those are all ingredients or natural stuff for them to really, let's say, grow, develop, and have that flavor, or even produce eggs in that capacity. Goats, on the other hand, eat a lot of grain. We also eat corn. But there's two particular plants that I was asked about. One is the jumbe, and the other one is the sidnicot. Now the sidnicot can be used for energy, basically. It can be used for gas, it can be used for energy. So let's say if you know how the fruit looks, it's a tree, it has a lot of prickly thorns on it, but nevertheless, when the fruit comes in season and it ripes, you can crack open a few of them and you can just digest them right there. And let's say you were feeling low on energy, that would kind of take care of that energy. Also, it would get rid of the gas that you have if you, let's say, haven't eaten anything basically all day. The jumbe, on the other hand, does the same thing, right? Deals with gas and also helps with waste of the body. So jumbe does exactly the same thing. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Ras Kowhen, and he's going to take us into another dynamic, because he has more information on these greens and these plants. We're going to get into that. All right?
Bless everybody. First of all, thanks for inviting me on the platform.
That's it.
And you can see the best way we can contribute towards one another, because there's a lot of things about the farming, like I mentioned, where go hand in hand with health, because a lot of things what you produce or a farmer would produce, we use that, whether it's we cook with it,
right.
whether we use different to make different drinks, so it still would be a fruit or a vegetable. Yeah, it still be a fruit or a vegetable, so it's part of why it's important to bring it hand in hand. I start off by saying a little thing about a cat. Sometimes a cat and certain other animals, like a dog, for example, too, whenever they have a stomach problem, there's certain bush and certain trees that they would go to. One, like how we mentioned, would be the jumbe. The next one, strange enough, would be the grass. Notice, like, they would go to the grass, they would eat, especially the cat, they would eat the grass, they would throw up, and then they would feel better. So as much like we have certain bush that we could take, it cleanses us, and then we feel better. So that's why it's important for us to bring the link and to see how the best way we can, where we could know about the bush, know about the trees, and see how we could incorporate them in together. A next interesting point I found, what old man used to tell me, that is a sad situation where you have like a dog food, where you pick up a dog food and you pick up a can of soup, and you notice that the dog food seems to have more healthier nutrients than the soup. So actually they, and part of it is intentional. Part of it was intentional because they actually wanted to make, and I just saying, this is not me. They actually wanted to make the dog food on a level where if it's ever an epidemic, and you have to survive and eat something, is actually would be food safety approval. So that so when he said that, I just laughed and I just said to myself, okay, I guess that's the system strategy. But yeah, I really do like a lot of like bush medicines and a lot of bush cleansers, and just like how the dog would go to and a cat would go to certain animals and certain bush, we ourselves, whenever we realize that it's time to detox, or we have like a stomach problem, or we have like a different kind of illness in the body, we ourselves used to go in the bush. Like my old, like I said before, my old man, he was born in 1929. So he used to tell me a point where there was no such thing as a pharmacy. And not my grandfather, my father. So there was no such thing as a pharmacy, so everything you need, you would have had to get it out of the bush. So how do you do that? You had to know people, and that's where you go to Grammy or you go to the elders and the community, and they would guide you to the bush. But it's somehow the system have substituted that Finzone tablets and what it is, SS tonic, what iron stuff. Where like in farming, beets, kale, spinach, all these things is natural form of iron. So even if someone was to say, I no longer want to use what the system have in these bottled iron tablet supplement, and they want to use a natural form of iron. The same way that we talk about the grass and the dog going to these things, it's the same concept of us going to fruits and vegetables for iron and for the same minerals. It might not be for us like the dog would do it to have like a stomach virus or a stomach problem because we probably give him pork, so the dog's stomach is upset because he ate something, so we go to the grass, but we need iron, so we still go to what is natural, So I think that is missing. That is missing in this day and time, and it's important that we understand, or we more approach what is necessary for our bodies, for the healing aspect of it, for nutrients aspect of it, and to put back what is natural and use it from that. So, example, they teach us healthy bones, drink milk. But I mean, come on now, you're depriving the little baby cow, of its milk because we stealing it. But what happened to the calcium in coconut milk and hemp seeds? You have different form almonds, cashews, and not only that, the value of it is higher, and plus your body would receive that quicker than it would receive the foreign milk. So all this would be part of when it comes down to us getting back to earth, getting back to the natural, getting back to what we need to do should go hand in hand, and not only that, it should also be talked about, because if we just know it amongst in this room and we don't share that when we go out, we will only know it amongst this room, and we would just be healthy, but we won't have a healthy nation, even for those that actually looking for for a way out, So go ahead.
I think Lawrence.
You do think, or now that we move, today's society is moved away from what we call, we want to eat less starches, but the bases or the starches all come from grass. Oats is a grass, corn is a grass, rice is a grass, and we kind of move away from this. And back in the day, you used to eat a lot of whole wheat flour, whole wheat everything, and that is a major source of iron. And I believe that kind of contributed to now the modern day weak body that we have.
Right. Yeah. That is definitely the case. Like even like back in the time, like when they used to talk about bread, and even like rice, is like from a completely different source other than like what we have now, like the white rice what we eat, or even the yellow corn. That really, it's so funny. Like about maybe about 200 years ago or less, the yellow corn what we see now never existed. Like it never existed. So is the carrot, like this carrot. These like the corn, it was more of a purple, more like certain places like Mexico and right, you would see those type of stuff, more like they'll be the original one. So it's like they took these two, we were crossbreed them, we got the yellow one. So here's the thing, is they lost the nutritional value and all these things, but they got this new product where they now making corn flakes. They're making corn starch, so it's like they could do more, but they lost some of the value what we used to eat it for originally. While modernization expand or change, so did some of the food practices and some of the approaches that we used to do before that time. You see, and that's part of where it's a trick by wording. Because now in the mind they say, okay, I want to eat healthy, so you go in. I mean, we don't call it a name, but just say you go in a certain food store, and you see it's an organic apple, but the apple is big as our head, and red, and all that. So they'd be like, this one look, but it say organic on it, so they stop to question it because it say organic, but then they don't question and say, but why? But this look, it look as such, that's why it's a plate. So I learned like even the concept of organic would be things applying, let's say, to something that came out of the earth versus like say a mango. Now I'm not saying that a native mango that grow here is not it is a hybrid. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the concept of what is the original term of organic is something that is attached to the earth or that is in the earth. When you pull it out, that concept is organic versus something that already came out of the earth and we pick it. Now, yes, it's attached to the earth and that, but you have to dig it up, in other words.
It involves harvesting.
But it sounds nice in the market. As a selling tool, it sounds nice. Right. So that's the word detox and diet programs and all these things, but that is the approach wrong at the same time.
So let's look at one or two areas. So originally, right now, how the world is moving or progressing forward, everyone's worried about what they should eat or what to eat. And even though we're bombarded by a lot of the what's that word? Generic foods, generic brands, right? We're bombarded by it. So, like you said, you can go in the store and you can say, "Oh, this is organic," and it says organic, right? I mean, most highfalutin areas you go and you go to purchase something. So automatically, when you go there, you're thinking, I know in the inner city we get all of the byproducts, right? But when you go on the outer skirts, you figure you're buying more fresh fruits, more fresh green vegetables, the best set of stuff you can get. But when you really go home and like, let's say you go and read the labels on it, and then you compare it between the stuff what you get from the inner city and the outer skirts, you realize it's the same product.
And you pay,
and you just pay more. Right?
But if you notice, sometimes what is be the difference is you get a prettier box.
Right.
And the labeling would be more attractive. Like let's say you have a I want to use something that was used recently, but I can't remember right now. But let's say you have a banana, right? You have a banana. So in the inner city, you just get a banana in a bag, probably even a brown bag. They give you, say 3-4 bananas for $2. So you get bananas bag. But on the outer city, you're paying $6 for that same banana. But then the box of it have this pretty garden and garden and all that, and the farm, the farm in the background and things like that. So it's like you paying more for the subliminal, right, and all that kind of packaging and You pay more for all that approach. And then just saying that, I just thought I would really suggest you to check out something called the Kowsher stamp tax, not kosher, not Kowsher, Kosher stamp tax or the Jewish stamp tax.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, folks, we're not promoting Jewish religion or anything like that. All right. Like the brother said, check it out. There are more than likely some good information on that platform, and it would be beneficial to you, beneficial to all of us. Also, we're not here to bash any industry of any kind, how they make food and market food or whatever. The goal of it is, again, like I say, to bring us back to if someone wants to have a small homestead, it doesn't have to be chickens, it doesn't have to be goats, it can be greens. It can just be literally greens and fruits. You know, you can just have a kale garden. I would advise you to check out the aquaponic school, right? It's an amazing, trust me, the guy is amazing on what he does. There's a few other things that my wife and I, we're looking at, and we're working on trying to get into. Because, like I said, the goal is to build a small community and to be able to have everyone in that community to be able to sustain themselves, but also to be able to provide for a wider range of people. And whatever you can bring to the table, this platform, that's what we're about. You know, so like I said, it's not about bashing big bad industries. Let me rephrase, the big industries, right? Now we're gonna move closer to the topic. I realized we were talking, as we were talking, brother's giving us some in-depth information on how we ought to live and what we ought to look out for, and you know, just be aware of the marketing and the fancy marketing and whatnot. And if you really want, let's say, more closer or to the point, whole green, food that's grown out of the ground, or let's say even meat, chicken, cows, goats, they're grown from just grass, eating grass and nutrients and whatnot. I believe the farmers market would be one of the places you can go check that out if you wanted to get the best out of it.
Yeah,
So,
well, yeah, they do sell in the farmers market. They do sell different kind of natural feed. They sell like the chicken feed.